Where do I begin? Hello, I'm Pastor Shekinah, and just want to let you guys know that I'm the founder and bishop of the PlayStation Home Christian Travelers Organization. We started the PlayStation Home Church. Me, um, the First Lady Shekinah, who was my wife at the time, um, and my good friend Alicio Torres 89. Um, but before I begin, let me take you back into exactly how I first made my debut. PlayStation Home is a virtual world where there's human-like avatars that run around apartments and houses and areas. It's a social network where people can meet, that add each other online, that play games and communicate. I was introduced um, by my sister Blackberry Boo, my real life sister. That's her avatar name. And we used to play games on my PS3, and we would talk, and um, she would come over at my house back when I was living in Indiana. My sister, um, she showed me this app called PlayStation Home, and I didn't really understand it, but she made my avatar for me, and I made my first avatar was named Mr. Shit was Kivian 2, excuse me. Kivian 2 was my avatar, and I remember um, I would meet friends and all, and I began to like it. And then I met this woman named Shekinah. Shekinah and I were dating, and we became good friends and started flirting in real life over the avatar. And I told her I was a minister and evangelist in real life, and I saw PlayStation Home to be very different. The first form of creating the church, but I wasn't really sure. Um, PlayStation Home had a lot of fans at the time, and I wanted to make some type of spiritual group, and I made one called the Royal Family under uh, Mr. Shekinah because Shekinah and I we got married, and she made me an avatar under her name. I was just Mr. Shekinah, and I became the first king, if you will, on PlayStation Home, and she became the first queen. We started bringing in people and helping them, giving them PlayStation cards. A PlayStation card is basically money that you use like a credit card where you can buy avatar clothes and houses and all type of good things for people or for yourself. Me and Shekinah um, began to get really close. We went from the avatar world to real life, and I ended up moving out to Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and we end up falling in love, and we went from a place in home wedding to actually being engaged in real life. That was in 2011. In that same year, um, that's when I was pretty much going through some things in my life spiritually, and I need some type of breakthrough. I didn't have a church home at the time in Wisconsin, only from my home state of Indiana. Was being a minister and evangelist in real life and studying in Bible school, and I would keep my notes and study more, and I would just pretty much meditate and pray and have pretty much family church and visiting different churches. And then one day, one of my friends on my friends list, her name is Kat. She knew I was a minister, but you know, um, I didn't really know how to use my ministry on the internet because I kind of wanted to, just didn't know how to go by it. Me to a man named Alicio Torres 89. She introduced me and Shekinah. Alicio Torres 89 was a very popular young guy, and basically he was a Christian believer. We ended up meeting and becoming great friends, and he introduced me to other Christians on home. They had these little small avatar. There was more like Christian halls, where they would talk about God. They would take turns, and I was a part of it. That was back in 2011, around August. And then, um, we became more close friends, talking about God. And I asked him, I said, "Hey, how would you feel if we break out with our own church?" And the rest was history. The PlayStation Home Christian Travelers Organization, or PHCT, um, is not a place where we're trying to start a new religion. It's not a place where we judge, ridicule, or preach faith or doctrine in certain traditions. We just basically preach out of the Bible. We encourage, and I like to use more of a Pentecostal apostolic belief, but I don't enforce my faith on anyone. We're almost at 800 members. We have about 7 different church clubhouses, about 7 ministers. We have deacons, we have singers, we have people that have done films for us off of KLDSR1 at YouTube.com, my YouTube channel. You can check out a couple of films. We have women meetings. We have modeling shows to advertise church clothes. We have brotherhoods. Um, Bible Ball where we pay people cash prizes. We do it all. Since we started the church since 2011 to 2014, we have helped almost 200 people go back to church. That is our mission. Our mission is not to bring people from church. We don't take no offerings or no tithing. I believe that that belongs to the church in real life. However, my mission is to save as many souls of people who don't go to church in real life, encourage them, and send them to a church in their local city and state. So basically, we're putting people back in church. I'm very proud of what I've done. I've done many things in my life, in real life, but I'm not as proud like I am what I've done on this very game. We are the biggest ministry in the world. Started um, with one man's idea, which was me, to wanna and just encourage people for the people I've never met, but I feel more closer to them than my church friends in real life. So I'm very, very proud for what we have accomplished. Um, we've prayed for people with marital problems. We've blessed people. Oh, how I met the new first lady. Um, Me and Shinkana and I became great friends. Um, she basically, um, you know, wanted to do more spiritual things in her life, and we're not together, but we're very, very close. The new first lady's name is Ms. Shira. She was my good friend. We were best friends. She was more like a secretary. She handled a lot of the stuff. She became a member of the church in 2011, like 2 months later, back in November. And when the church in 2012, when home was going through hard times, she supported me in the ministry a lot, and she always was there. To be the first lady and to be my wife on home and in real life, um, back in February 2014. She's now the president of the Church Girls, which is a first ever um, Christian modeling group where we advertise avatar church wear. She's also the leader of prayer, and she's also a great friend to everybody on here. Alicio's a great guy. Um, my assistant pastor, and he's now pastor and leader of his own internet church, and he's been up under me and his real life pastor. Um, I've never met Alicio in real life, but we talk so much over the phone and over the internet. Now I like to meet him and thank him for being my Black Joshua. They call me sometimes the Black Moses um, to lead the Ab people to the promised land. Alicio's my Black Joshua. You think of Batman, you'll think of me. My kids is very proud of what I've done. Um, my two sons supported me. My oldest son, he helped film some of my projects for the movies we've done. Um, proud of their father, and they're both Christians. If I, when I leave, um, basically, I don't know who I'm going to give this big uh, final goodbye to. I really would like Alicio, the only guy I can really think of right now, to really take over. If God is calling me to continue my real life ministry, oh yet. But whoever it is, I hope they do a great job and really encourage more people like I tried to do. Acknowledgments. Yeah, I've been on talk shows. Um, I've been on Home Cribs. Um, a show called The Blue Nation under the Vipers 79. Um, I've done. I've gotten many awards. I've gotten up into the Hall of Fame under the Legend CEO for my good work. I've gotten an award for the greatest inno- innovator speaker and inspirational speaker in PlayStation Home history by BC fam on here. Um, yeah, I've gotten many awards and acknowledgments, and I appreciate that. Where do I see myself in 10 years on home? I don't know if I'm going to be preaching 10 years or extra, I should say 7 years on home. However, if I can get a good 2 more years, our goal is to reach 1,000 people. And now we're close to 800. And this past Sunday, we added 5 new people. Every week, we get at least 4 new people a week. If you do the math, times a month and then times a year, that's a lot of people. And all of these people, most of them have no churches, and they're just souls. Basically, if we're considered the fishers of men, and people's in church preparing to fish, let's just say I'm greedy. It's an old saying that the early bird catches the worm. My grandfather used to say, you're in the field, winning souls, whether it's in real life or on the internet, because I can save somebody. Only the Bible and the Word can. Yeah. If you want to find more things about me and about what we do, my name is now Pastor Rock. I've changed my name due because I'm with the new First Lady, and I will always be Pastor Shekinah. And how that came about is that even though I'm a man, I don't mind changing my avatar name for the woman I'm with. I will always be Pastor Shekinah, but as of now, Pastor Rock, in honor of my new wife. And still the same church, and we're going to be even stronger because a rock means strength. That's what everybody always wanted to know. What does the great Pastor Shekinah name means? Okay, Shekinah is Hebrew. It means the cloud or the power or the presence of God, the Shekinah glory that rests on Mount Sinai in Exodus. The Shekinah glory was the cloud that led them in the daytime and fire by night. Pastor comes from the root word pastures, which means plenty or leader or plenty of. You use it. So when you put it together, my avatar Pastor Shekinah means the Spirit of God leads. That's what it means. The Spirit of God leads. Not me, but the God in me is leading the people. That's why I call myself Pastor Shekinah. Uh, my personal spiritual credentials. Um, I've gotten the biggest trophy in 2007, most visitors to New Jerusalem Apostolic Faith Church in Gary, Indiana. I brought all of my family, and five of them received the Holy Ghost, and they're still saved today. I was head usher. I preached in four different states, um, from Illinois, Indiana, Wisconsin, and Nevada. I do Massachusetts, where my wife is from, and Ohio, where Alicio is from, the assistant pastor. Uh, you can also, again, I'm also a movie writer, producer, and director. I've been in a couple of real life movies and one commercial. Um, you can check me out on my YouTube channel for the films I've recorded and future and past church conventions we've given that I've recorded myself. That's KLDSR1 at YouTube.com. I'm also the president of and founder of that channel for the church. I also have a fan page at Movies from the Bible at Facebook. Please like and share with your friends. Basically, it's films that Hollywood make that has a meaning to it the Bible speaks about. Again, that's Movies from the Bible on Facebook. My thanks. I want to thank a lot of people. I first want to thank God, who's the head of my life. I want to thank Him for allowing me to live this long. I lost a lot of friends in my life, and but God still has me here doing His work. Secondly, I want to thank um, my lovely wife, um, Shirakia, aka Ms. Shirak. I mean, in 2012 when the church was almost didn't make it on home. She inspired me to keep going, and I'm looking forward to having a great life with her. It's for supporting their father. I lost a lot of things in my life, and my kids was a part of it. But if it wasn't for them, I never would have been this strong. I want to give a special shout out to Shekinah because before I met anybody, she was there and she pretty much encouraged me on home. And she was one of the founders of the church, and uh, she sometimes encouraged me when nobody else really did. I want to especially thank my boy Alicio, assistant pastor. We lost a lot of members and we gained a lot of members, but those we lost, we've had as low as 3 people in the church. He always came and supported me. Hey, he gives me honor and makes sure I have everything that I need. And he calls me, send me scriptures when I'm discouraged on my cell phone. And he's a real true friend. And he's going to be a great man of God as he get older. I want to dedicate this film to my grandmother, um, mother, missionary Moselle, Joyce Bird, who was my first mentor before any other pastor and friend in real life on home. She died in 2011, the same year, ironically, I created the church on home. Sometimes I preached on home, some things that she taught me, um, and I think about her every day. She's in heaven, and I was one of her favorite grandsons, and I was the second person in our big family to be saved, and we grew very close. She was my first teacher and my mentor, so I want to dedicate this documentary to her. Thank you all very much. Mr. Shekinah was inducted into the Hall of Fame by the Legends CEO. The Legends bring statues to represent the person. The sheep represents Pastor Shekinah, which was sent in his clubhouse, the Hall of Fame, during the test of time. The sheep also represents Christians. It shows humility, love, peace. Shekinah's work in PlayStation Home history will always be remembered as the man that shows great humility.
Hello, my name is She Rakia, and my position is in the church is the first lady. I'm actually the pastor's wife. I heard about the PlayStation Home Church through a mutual friend. I had just went through a situation in my life, and this friend had brought it to the church. And when I was able to get back on my feet, I came to the church to meet the pastor and everyone else because I heard they were praying for me and things like that. So I wanted to meet them. Okay. At first, I'm just gonna be honest. At first, I thought it was a little strange because I've never been to church on the online or on PlayStation Home. So it was a little hard to take it seriously, but after, because it is technically a game, but over time, I was able to see that it was serious and it was something real, which actually made me want to keep coming because you can never really trust the people on here. So, it was hard to actually get into this at first, but once you meet the people and get to know them, especially the pastor, you build great friendships, great relationships, and it just goes from there. Like over time, I got used to it and realized it was something real, and these were all real people who were interested in making. So I began to like it. Eventually loved it and kept coming, and I'm still coming. In my own words, there was a point where I actually didn't know we were even BFFs. I didn't know he considered me to be his best friend until one day he called me his BFF. I didn't realize how much of an impact I had on him. So I was kind of shocked. I was honored for him to call me his BFF. When we first met, we just sort of kind of had this bond, and it was always easy for us to speak to each other and tell each other anything. So I guess that's how we ended up becoming BFFs because no matter what happened, in some way we were able to help each other through the situation. Okay. Well, I wouldn't call myself the secretary. Me being pastor's BFF, I was just, if I had the time, I was just there, Like, there's nothing wrong with helping someone if you can't help. And that was just more of what I did. I won't really call myself a secretary, but if that's what he wanted to call me, then it was fine with me. There's no point, if I'm not doing anything else, there's no point why I can't help. So I think that everything that was done in the past was a step forward. As long as you keep a positive mind about it. If there's not a lot of members, over time people will come. Sometimes things aren't going to go the way you want it to. It'll seem like things are taking a step back, and sometimes that's just what has to be done in order for you to take steps forward. And that's what I believe happened. So I think everything that was done was a step forward. I don't think it was a waste of time because whether we know it or not, every person who comes to church, we may be helping someone or touching someone. We don't know what they do behind these avatars. We don't know what they deal with in real life. One message could get to a person and change their life. So even if it seems like there's no progress, there is progress. You just may not know it. I've been on home since 2009. I don't really remember how I found out about it. I seen it on my PlayStation and was never really sure what it was. And then I would see friends on it, and I'm like, it just kind of pulled me in. I was like, oh, I wonder what it is. So then I just to open it and saw that it was some virtual world. It was weird to me at first, seeing people just run around and act silly on here. But over time, I started playing it just for fun, seeing what the world was about. My experiences, I've been through a lot of things on here, and it's just I don't know. Over time, people grow apart. You join fams, and people really take this stuff to heart. And sometimes you just have to grow up in a way and realize to an extent that this is a game. People and families try to run people's lives and stuff like that, and I don't think it's that serious. You should be able to get on here and hang with your friends and just, have fun. That's what the whole purpose of this place is, to really have fun. And when people forget that, it causes drama. They build fams and stuff like that and do these little internet wars, and I think it's really pointless for that. But as far as the church, I think this is something good that you're doing. But family wise and starting gangs on here is a little unnecessary. So I mean I've seen it all, so nothing really shocks me to at this point. I've been through a lot of on here, so I'm really used to whatever. Um, I was a little nervous. It's still kind of hard to believe that I'm actually the first lady. So it's still kind of like trying to register in my mind. Like I don't think it actually registered with me yet because I'm still trying to grasp it. Because for a while, I'll admit, I wouldn't say I wanted to be the first lady, but I wanted to be the first lady, if it makes sense. So, you want something bad enough and then you get it and you can't really believe you have it. a little nerve-wracking at times because it's almost like all of a sudden you just become a role model for a lot of people. All of a sudden they look up to you and they really don't know anything about you. So you do have to always make sure, thing really, because one person sees something wrong and then it spreads from there. So it does become a little stressful at times. It's a little nerve-wracking at times, but I love it. I wouldn't change it. I mean, he is my husband, so I have to stand by him, and I'm fine with that. I'm not complaining about it. My comments for the first lady. Well, with any pastor and first lady, I admired them both. I looked up to them. Both of them I respected. Both of them I respected her because she was the pastor's wife. It's just what I was taught. It's how I was raised. Whether or not she was doing a good job, I can't really say because there was a time I was gone for a while. But when she was here, she did do a good job. I'm not gonna discredit her for that. She did do a good job when she was here, but over time, and once you stop coming, I'm sure that doesn't help at all. So I still respected her. She was the pastor's wife, and it was the right thing for me to do. I didn't know what was going on personally, so there was nothing I could really say. Their business was their business at the time. Oh, wow. In 5 years, that's a long time from now. I think the main point of this is to get people into their own church. I wouldn't really say I see us here in 5 years because this isn't really, I mean, it's not really what I want for us for the next 5 years because I go to church in real life. I really don't want to do this every Sunday, but I do it for my husband. I mean, that's what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to back him if he has something going. So, I mean, our main goal is to get people into a church in real life. Our whole purpose is to get them to know about God. And as long as we've done that, we've accomplished a lot. So, whether or not we're here forever, they still know about God. They can still get up and go explore more about Him in the real life. But as far as where did I leave off at? Yeah, I don't see us here in the next 5 years. We have great things planned for our life, big things planned. And as life becomes busy, we won't really have time for this. We won't have time for PlayStation Home. We'll always try to make time for the people, but it's life. We won't really have time for it. Everyone has a personal life that they have to deal with, and we have one too. We take our personal time and put it towards this church, and we could easily be doing something else. But over time, things are going to change. We're trying to do this for people at the moment So we're hoping that they can take it and learn from it and, use it in their daily life. But I don't see us on PlayStation Home in the next 5 years. Hopefully we'll be in our own church moving forward, trying to make big things happen, pulling in younger people in the real world, encouraging people in the real world as well. From the work he's done, from a person, if I never became the first lady, oh, as his wife? Well, as his wife, it would get personal. So, but if I wasn't his wife, when I wasn't his wife, I always admired what he did. Because it takes a lot to get up here and preach every Sunday. And I know what things go on PlayStation Home. I was just told how someone came in a couple of Sundays ago and just bashed him and disrespected him. But it takes a lot to keep going. And I always admired that. It takes a lot to take time out of your daily schedule to do this for people. And people don't realize how real it is. They think it's just a game when you're getting up here preaching, and it's not. So I've always admired that from a friend point of view. From his wife's point of view, from his wife's point of view, a more personal view of it, I absolutely love my husband. I love what he does, and I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't trade him for anything in this world. And no matter what he chooses to do, I'll always stand by him. I'll always have his back. I admire him as his wife for doing this too, because it still takes a lot to get up here and do it. And people don't realize that. I mean, a lot of these people wouldn't want to get up here every Sunday, every single Sunday, and be committed to these people, but he does that. And as long as I'm here, I'll do it with him.